Hey guys, working on a 2011 Mustang GT with a 5-liter in it, and I'm making this video to help out somebody, just in case they're in the same predicament I found myself in a day ago. Anyways, the car was running perfectly. I went out the night before, it was working fine. Got up the next day, went to go for a drive in it, and the engine was running very poorly. It didn't sound right. There was very low power. I just immediately turned around, went right back home. Then the check engine light came on, and so I shut it down, brought it in the shop to take a look. So anyways, I have a code reader. Let's see here. Here's my code reader right here. Just got it off Amazon. It's just a blue driver, and it hooks up to your phone. Plug it up into the OBD2 up in here. So I plugged that in, linked up to it, and I got my codes out. Came up with 2 codes. One was P0015 for the exhaust camshaft timing. So that was bank 1, sensor 2. And the other code I had was P0017, crankshaft position, with the correlation between the crank and the cam. So I found this diagnostic trouble code online, so I just had a look and was going through it. So what I found was basically bank 1 is the cylinder which contains cylinder number 1. So on these Coyote engines, the passenger side bank is bank number 1. Cylinder number 1 is up here. So you have cylinder number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Basically, you've got twin independent variable cam timing on these things. So basically, you got one camshaft on the top on this side that controls the intake, and the other cam on the lower side here that controls the exhaust. Okay, they're variable. So basically, you have variable valve timing modules up front here that are controlled by the PCM that advance or retard the cam timing. And in the back of the engine, I don't know if we can see back here, there are cam position sensors. Okay. Sorry about this. I'm trying to get you to see in here. So one of them is right here, the other one's right here. So each camshaft has its own position sensor, one for the intake, one for the exhaust. And then further down on the bell house, that's where the crank position sensor is. These are very accessible if you take the battery out. So basically, just I took the battery out and the battery tray, and I was able to access both of those sensors very easily. I pulled them out and inspected them. I didn't really find anything wrong. I found some different videos on YouTube that didn't really help me at all. One of them was saying with a 2-wire cam position sensor that one of the wires could be ground. That wasn't true on this one. What I did was, like I said, because you've got 2 more sensors on this side, what I did was I took the sensor out of this side and put it over here and just switched them, and then started it back up to see if the code would switch sides, and it didn't. The code stayed the same. I still had P0015, which is the bank 1 side. Okay, so I tried deleting the codes and restarting it, and the codes came back. So definitely the problem was on this side. I pulled the crank sensor off as well. The crank sensor just caused the engine not to run at all. As soon as I pulled it out and disconnected the wiring, it wouldn't even start. So I knew it wasn't that. So I had to go from here. Now I'm talking to you. This happened on a Friday, and of course with this virus thing going on, I couldn't get any parts Friday night. Saturday, my parts supplier was also closed. It's now Sunday, so there's no parts until tomorrow at the earliest. But I was able to order online, and I got new cam and crank sensors coming anyways, just because they're cheap enough to, and they should be replaced as a set anyway. So I'm sure that they're all original on this car. So that still didn't help me. I still wanted to figure out what the exact problem was on it. So digging further into it, I wanted to check everything out anyway. But so I ended up taking it right apart and having a look at the cam, barring the engine over by the crankshaft by hand and inspecting the cam, looking at the timing. Everything looked fine there. The only thing that it could be at this point is one of these variable valve solenoids. So basically, the computer tells this solenoid to either retard or advance the timing, like I said earlier in the video. So basically, behind here, there's phasers that turn, and it changes the timing. So and it's controlled by these solenoids. So I thought, I'm gonna have to test this, testing them, just hooking very small leads and hooking to a 12-volt battery and just actuating the valve to see if they could hear it. Well, that's what it was. When I actuated mine with the wire, I put 12 volts to it, I heard it start clicking and actuating back and forth. So, you know, obviously I cleaned everything all up as good as I could and then put it back together and actuated both of them, you know, a few times, and there was a noticeable difference after I did it a few times. So in my opinion, the VVT actuator was stuck, and is stuck in the retarded position, which through the cam code and the cam to crank correlation code, and causing the entire bank 1, all these 4 cylinders, 1, 2, 3, and 4, weren't even firing. So that was part of my diagnostics in the beginning. I actually had the car running, and I removed 1, 2, 3, and 4. I removed all of these connectors here that plug directly into the coil packs, and it didn't make a difference. So half the engine wasn't even running. And I went down with my temperature gun and took a reading off the exhaust manifold down here, and it was still cold. So I mean, the whole right side of the engine wasn't even running. So the computer had shut it right down. So anyways, after actuating those variable valve timing actuators, I put it all back together, and like I said, it's still Sunday, still no parts yet. I still have cam and crank position sensors on order. I decided I'm going to just give it a try. So I plugged the battery in and started it, and bingo, it worked 100%. Cleared the codes are cleared off. I've got everything, the oil pressure's up, no more engine light, and it's purring just like a kitten, just like it should. There you go, you see the RPM dropping down. I've already had it running, so it's up to temp already. And that's it. So hopefully this video can help out somebody, and just a couple of quick fixes. I spent hours on this, doing all the research. Like I said, I just bought the car, so it was time for me to go over it really good anyways. And so that's it. Hope you liked the video. Hopefully it helps out somebody. Thank you.